Hello YouTube, I'm Wardy, and I've got something a little bit different and a little bit special for you guys today, as I have a Serral versus Clem game that was played on the ladder. Now, you don't actually get a lot of these because Serral doesn't actually play on his main account on the ladder a lot, so even if you're trying to grab replays of other people, it's very hard to say, oh yeah, this is Serral. So it's really nice to be able to get Serral on an account that's actually his own. What's also really cool about this game is that this game was played while Serral was streaming. And I've got a couple of stories to tell you about it when the game does end. But yeah, something a little bit different. A ladder game, not a game from a tournament. Hopefully you guys still do find it fun and enjoyable. Obviously, let me know down in the comments below if you kind of like it. And if you'd like to see more just ladder games rather than just tournament games. So yeah, I'd really love to hear your opinion on that. Otherwise, we're just going to get this started. This is just one map. It's a ladder match. And we're just going to sit back and enjoy it. So why don't I press play and have a look to see what this TVZ has got to give us. It's in the bottom right-hand side. Our red Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. And he's taking on the blue Zerg player from NC Sports, Serral. Now, it's funny because obviously Clem and Serral played in the Red Bull Zalnaga Finest event in the finals a few weeks ago now, 3-4 weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5. God, time passes quickly. But yeah, they played in the finals back then, and Clem was down 0-2, was able to turn it around to win it out 3-2, which is just crazy. Clem to come out with a victory like that is massive in a tournament, and really interested to see if Clem can, stay on top and still fight Serral here today in this match that happened over on the ladder. So definitely one to watch. These two combined MMR is probably like 14,000 plus. In fact, Serral is above 7.4k MMR right now on the ladder. I'm not sure where exactly Clem is, but he's obviously very good. He's been 7k before if he isn't right now. I mean, he's the hottest Terran we're talking about in Europe. Definitely want to keep our eyes on, obviously, going into the ESL Pro Tour system in the next month or so when the first one of those events actually starts up and all of that. So yeah, really cool to kind of get this match. I want to give a shout out to the players who I contacted. I was like, yo guys, what's up? I heard you guys played a game and I'd like to get the replay. And they sent me it, so that's always great, able to get the replay. Obviously, if I'd asked and they were like, no, then I wouldn't be here casting it for you guys. So that would be a little bit awkward as well. As this is just a YouTube exclusive, I would just like to take one quick moment as we have a hatch gas pool and a Reaper expand opening, aka nothing crazy going on, to just very quickly say if you guys are enjoying the video, do hit the like button. And of course, if you're really enjoying the content here on the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 20,000 subs. We'll probably hit it with this video releasing. So just a heads up, thank you so much for all the support. It's crazy that we're going to hit 20,000 subs. That's 10,000 new subs since January 1st. That's honestly amazing. So thank you so much for all the love. And yeah, let's whack that like button, guys. Let's get this video full of likes. You know how much that helps as we get this underway. Now, 1 second, guys. Let me just very quickly turn the health bars back on. They're on the wrong setting there. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to watch this Reaper and see how low HP it ends up escaping on as the Reaper arrives. We'll come into the natural where there's already a couple of lings out and the damage will begin. The Queens aren't here just yet, as of course we are playing here on Nightshade. So a game which is, or a map which is, by definition almost at this point, it's like the Terran map or one of the Terran maps, and yet not the Terran map, which is so much so the Terran map anymore that players veto it every single time. Other maps have taken that place. A lot of Zergs have found ways to play on this map. Heavy Ling Bane styles, not going into mutas, Hydra styles to help you deal with that 8-1-1 push that can be so good, especially in a game where you can't run by, you can't deal much damage as the Zerg. Obviously, how Serral will deal with that, setup, we'll kind of ask ourselves because it is difficult to run by on this map. Running into this forward third base, well, you pretty much have to come through a wall of depots here on this side. If the Terran is out here pushing this space, to run from here back to here, it's a screen away, right? It's really not that far. So that's what's so good about this map for the Terran. Not only are there very few ways to counterattack as the Zerg, there are very few ways to counterattack, and the Terran can pull back so easily to deal with those counterattacks. That's what really makes Nightshade so playable for the Terran players. So we'll see just what, again, Serral has planned to maybe get through that here. As you do see the hatchery from Serral setting up on the top side base. We have seen a few Zerg players who kind of take this as their third base nowadays. Just sort of saying to themselves, well, if I get this base up now and I already, work on these rocks and get creep out here and own this position, it means that then I'm just a little bit better set up in this position when the Terran inevitably pushes this position, because this is where the Terran loves to push in from. Much harder for the Terran to push a fourth base, which is up here, just because where do you really push from? You know, from over here and down this ramp, and you maybe siege up here, but you've actually got a lot more space to work with then as this compared to an attack that arrives here and pushes on in. So as everything stays standard, by the way, as well, Hellions just moving around. The Liberator just finishes up from Clem as well. And we'll see the command center dropping down on the natural expansion, so that's going to be our third CC already underway. With the Stimpack following up, and yeah, just going to be 6 Hellions with that Liberator, so a good little bit of harassment initially from Clem, but really not feeling the need to go into a Banshee, not feeling the need to play safely against the Roaches. If there were Roaches, right, a lot of players like to play Cloaked Banshees on this map, because they like to, you know, set themselves up in a way where they make sure they get to the later stages. It is a shorter map, so the Roaches can come across and be aggressive much more easily. Now, this is really nice. Clem coming around one side, then the other, and getting a couple of creep tumors already. So taking down some creep as these Hellions back over the right. Just going to try and get this creep tumor too. Will not get it. Oh, he'll get it with the splash damage and the Reaper Grenade. Nicely done. The Hellions firing through onto the Queens, obviously splash it down. I think the Reaper Grenade helped out as well, as Clem backs away with the Hellions once again. Now, Serral's style in this game already is to go into the 1-1 melee upgrade, so he's already building into that. The Liberator, which has just been very inactive so far, will try and siege up on the third. Spore Crawler instantly relocates. He loses one single drone, and Clem doesn't even look for more. He just unsieges and relocates actually onto the Queen, which will have to pull back and get out of that. And now the Liberator will have to relocate once more, so lots of relocation going down. But yeah, melee upgrades early in the game here from Serral. The Baneling speed on the way up. Sorry, the Baneling nest on the way up, but he will be able to get Baneling speed with this lair on the way too. So yeah, Serral just playing that kind of fast upgrade style, not a fast lair, which is something that really has overtaken the TVZ matchup lately. Lots of faster lairs, faster spires, even just overseers to help deal with the Banshees, faster Baneling speed, and slightly slower upgrades. Serral going to go for the more, you know, upgrade-centric way of dealing with this as an opening. Just a quick note as well, guys, before any drones go down or multiple drones go down. This is obviously a ladder game, so there's no WCS Game Heart mod enabled, so it's not possible to have worker kill tab or anything up on the side. I'll try and do my best, showing you guys here and there where the drones are dying. You know, these Hellions have picked off a few, and that's where the first three have gone down alongside this Liberator. But I'll do my best to kind of keep that on screen for you guys so you roughly know how much damage is done with every little attack. So just a little bit of a heads up there as we do have the first push coming. This is where Clem really might start to dig his teeth in and be able to get some damage done. The first Baneling's morph, and remember those Banelings will be without the Baneling speed for a little while. As Clem takes the high ground, immediate counterattack from Serral though, so he's already across the map and looking for SCVs. 3 SCVs lost in this. Now it does mean that Clem is somewhat uncontested across the map. There are units here, but missing this chunk of Zerglings definitely does cost you a little bit. Especially as the Hellions stay out over here as well. Clem is refusing to pull units back. He's going to let these Lings deal that damage, and then they'll eventually back away after picking off the supply depot. Clem's already got new depots building. As he's about to hit 1-1, upgrades should be even here for a fight. There's Hellions, Marines, and a tank still sitting out on this ramp. The tank on the high ground. A lot more Zerglings of Serral out to the far right-hand side, and they are going to start coming down into the third base. As we do have the Overseer of Serral through the natural up to the main. The Marines are going to go stimming forward, and they're going to get themselves the Overseer kill. It's not even much information gained for Serral. He really would like to know, you know, are you going into 8 racks? Are you building a second factory? Are you going into an extra CC already? This is all information he really misses out on. The second factory is actually out over here. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, that's information Serral would like to have, because it tells him whether he's going to be playing against this very aggressive continued push, or if there's more tech coming up behind this. And in this game, there's going to be more tech coming behind it. Clem is not going to be all in on 2-2 and 3 bases. And then, as I say that, there's the 4th base dropping down. That was an eventuality given the way that he's setting up with the extra factory. Serral set up a great surround here, though, and he's already coming in from 2 sides. And he will crash through. Clem saves what he can in the medevacks, but he has to, for the most part, lift up and just get out of that. This Liberator, by the way, is still alive and still on the map. It's great how much usage Clem gets out of these units. It's what makes his Hellion Liberator upgrade openings so good. That Liberator being able to stay alive just time and time again. It's really pretty sick as these Marines load up and pull away over to the right-hand side. Some more Lings and Banes coming through. The Marines just load up already, and they back themselves away as our 2-2 upgrades on the Evolution Chambers will be kicking in very shortly. And that will be a 2-2 advantage from Serral. We'll see if he can take a fight with it. He's also going up into the infestation pit. I think you guys will have been able to see by now there's been no lair tech, right? He's not been doing anything off the lair apart from Banelin's speed and 2-2. No Spire, no Hydralisk Den. In that scenario, you're playing this Lingbane heavy style, and you're looking to just rush up into Hive and rush up into Ultras. Because Lingbane Muta and Lingbane Hydra relies so much on kind of like playing heavy counterattacks, the sooner you get to like kind of like Lingbane Ultra, the sooner you have that sturdier force on the map for better upfront fights. That's generally the goal here. It's also just a thing as well where if Clem is playing 8 racks, it also means you are better off because you've just got a ton of units to help clean up that pressure. And as soon as Ultras are out against 8 racks, the 8 racks in player is just dead. Against the 4th base, this is not so good, and maybe it's partly the reason Clem decides to go 2nd factory, 4th base, and all that good stuff. As it just means that Clem is already setting up into the later stages, so you'll be able to get a response to Ultralisks up a little bit more easily. And those Ultras aren't going to be as, you know, all-powerful as maybe they would be otherwise. Beautiful Widowmine shots to start off on those Banelings. As Clem continues up the right, we do have these Medivacs here already back down to the bottom. Looks like they were deflected by the Lingbane attack, or the Lingbane army up on the top side, so no real damage being done. In terms of workers or finding positions, well, Clem is finding some very efficient trades. Already 3,000 resources lost better off. There's another Widowmine or 2 burrows, and these Marines will continue through, looking for some extra Banelings as Serral gets his creep to about that halfway marker, but he might struggle to get it any further because there is going to just be, you know, so much, you know, supply here from Clem just sat around waiting to help deal with this as 10 drones go down to the 2 Widowmines. Dropping from the Medivacs, a good harassment from Clem as he continues with Medivacs in the center of the map with these Marines, but he'll also continue dropping around the map. Hive in play, and 3-3 upgrades starting now on the Evolution Chamber. So we're already getting into what is the final set of upgrades here for Serral. And look at that, he's on point with the 3-3 of the Terran play, so he really is in a position where he's just matching the Terran in those upgrades, and that isn't seen a lot as this Widowmine will get down. It will just not get the Zerglings before they get the kill. That's because of the Spore Crawler there provide the detection. As there is a Lingbane army looking to hit this 4th base, so here we go. SCV's already pulling in to try and help repair this. I actually think they soak up enough of the Baneling shots that this will not kill the Planetary, so this is a bit of a waste from Serral. A lot of units given up for SCVs. While SCVs are always nice, you're mostly looking to actually kill off the Planetary Fortress here because the SCVs get replaced very quickly. Killing the Planetary really slows Clem's economy down. Not killing the Planetary and giving up those units, it just opens this resources lost gap up a little bit further, while Clem continues to mine fairly comfortably. You can see the incomes in the bottom right. Clem is within reach of Serral. Yes, Serral is mining more, but he's only mining, what, a few hundred minerals more, while losing thousands of minerals on gas extra throughout the course of the game. 2 Liberators are going to come across and look for harassment. Double Liberator Siege here. I mean, those Queens are dead. Oh, he actually split the damage on the Queens. Okay, you still will get 1 and the 2 drones. As 1 Liberator on Siege just goes elsewhere, loops around this top side of the mineral line. This Liberator is still out to the left. Clem pushing on the right side. Lingbane will come to greet it. Still just Lingbane, right? Which I think is very interesting. Lingbane Viper. As we're going to be seeing a huge run by into this 4th base. This time, will the Planetary Fortress go down? Well, if it does, this CC is ready to come back and replace it. As the Widowmines wander into all of the Banelings there. And that's obviously a big loss as well. All of your splash damage just got cleaned up by a handful of Banelings. 1 Zergling burrow to delay the CC from landing. Nice that Clem's going to be able to replace the CC. But otherwise, I think a fairly good attack still here for Serral, as we do see the Widowmines getting good connections across this Lingbane army. The bio pulling back a little bit further. Widowmine lines up, gets a few more Zerglings here. Siege Tank in the distance going to get a few more Lings and Banes as the bio continues to run away to the far right-hand side. We'll lift up those Marines and Marauders now. And that's just going to be seeing the 3-3 upgrades from Clem going to be finishing up. And we do have 2 more command centers from Clem just continue to build on this left side. Another round of Baneling shot. That's not enough to blow up a Planetary. It is enough to get a few SCVs if there was a lot of workers there. The Siege Tank actually just absorbs all of that Baneling damage. This Siege Tank that's been up since early in the game as well, right? It probably just wants to sit on this 4th base. There's not really a need for tanks when you've got Widowmines in the army like this. As finally we see Serral going to tech up. He's going to choose for the Ultralisk Cavern. He's going to choose to go into the Spire. Again, this is all very late Hive tech, and you've got to imagine he's doing this so late because he decided, hey, I actually want to just play like Lingbane Heavy for a little while longer, introduce the Vipers, get those to help me out. Vipers can still be very useful in a lot of these fights, because blinding clouds on bio and then forcing them, you know, it makes them derp out and they move command forward trying to fight, and that means they just run into Bane lanes if not controlled properly. So the Vipers are a cool addition. It's just worrying me because it feels like now you've stayed on Ling Bane for so long. Look at that resource loss difference. Yes, you've got the entire map up and all your bases set up as Serral and 84 drones, and also at the same time dealing enough damage to be able to, you know, keep Clem's economy low enough that losing or trading this badly is working. I just always worry when people play games like this against Clem, because it always feels like Clem is so good at keeping on the offensive himself and so good at forcing fights. You don't really want to take those Widow Mines. My goodness, 20 kills on one of them, and he just cleans out as those Lings will not make it into the front. So nice little wall off of units there from Clem. Holds on, Liberator relocating, so harassment continues during all of this. Look at the APMs. These guys have got to be playing fast at this point. Look at Clem, almost up at 400 average APM. It's actually sick. 400 average APM is not something we really talk about outside of Zerg players. Zergs naturally have a boosted APM because of the amount of units they make and how fast it is to make units with repeat delay, but yeah, the Terrans having a 400 APM, that's actually insane. Just shows how much Clem is putting into this right now as Lings and Banes try and come up that ramp. They will not be able to. A little bit of a run by in the top right, cleaned up by a single medevac dropping as well. And still Marauders, Marines continuing to fight here, pushing up at the front. Some Banes are going to try and roll through. The Widow Mines will meet them. Clem is up just 20 supply or so, and it really feels like Serral has just not been able to trade well enough so far. And now he's up on the spy. He's got Corruptors, so he can start fighting off these medevacs a bit. He can start shutting down these Liberators more easily. I'm just not sure that's going to help him fight on the ground, and I feel like fighting on the ground is actually one of Serral's big issues here. Let's see one of the ping players accidentally pinging a crossover here. Pretty sure Serral knows he needs to defend that base. He doesn't actually need a ping to figure that out. As this Liberator turns around, larger fight on the upper right side. Also a Liberator on this mineral line. So Serral losing his economy and his income once again, as he just has to pull drones away. At least this time the Corruptor's in position. Down over here, this Liberator is just denied so much mining time. It's killed all the lava on this base. And you know what? It's even going to unsiege. Well, it's going to try and resiege, but the Queens are here as well. If this was just the Spore Crawl, this would have been a good play. Obviously, in this case, maybe it should have tried to go elsewhere, but there's so much else happening. Can't really blame Clem for that little moment, as we do see a drop heading to the left-hand side as well. So Clem looking to apply pressure there. So we have a couple of Ultras out. Widow Mines will get a few of these Zerglings. Oh, we're going to see a Blinding Cloud already down. Hits the front siege tank. Again, kind of interesting to see a siege tank brought across the map at this point. Kind of thought they would have been left at home defensively as Serral comes through. He's going to clean out this army. And with Ultras on the map and Corruptors too, it does kind of make Clem slow down a little bit, right? It makes Clem slow down and probably not just mass biomine anymore, but actually have to add on Ghosts. Something of his own that's a little bit later game tech, just to really help out. This transfusion can save the Spine Crawl, and that's exactly what will happen. And you can kind of put some of Clem's army supply advantage down to the fact he was still just massing bio, while his opponent has been teching up Corruptors and the Ultras coming in. Let's see how Serral deals with this next army. Already up over here, Liberator in the top right while this happens. But let's watch the fight as our Lings and Banes and the Ultra trying to make their way around this Liberator again to a bit of a better concave to run in with. One Ultra already very low. So far, I don't think Serral has actually lost an Ultralist. This would be the first one if one went down in this fight. And that's obviously very useful. But this Liberator has just cleaned out an entire mineral line. Serral didn't realize this Liberator was up in the top. Now we've got these Marines back on the left-hand side as well. That said, Serral is winning a fight down towards Clem's third base. Finally, an Ultralist will go down. How much damage will these Ultras do? It looks like they might be able to... they're going to pull away. I guess reinforcements are on the way over. It just means that this one on its own really doesn't do much. He obviously wants to go and clean up this damage being done on the left-hand side, but having that one Ultra here, it felt as though maybe if you leave 2 or 3 Ultras here, you can really take down this factory, maybe force this base to lift, maybe win the fight against reinforcements. Now you've had to pull back, and you don't really gain much from pulling back, obviously, as Clem takes base number 7. So he is keeping pace with the expansions of Serral at this point. Serral gets the bottom left, Clem gets the top right. And immediately, Clem is just still maintaining that 9,000 resource loss difference all the way throughout this game. What does Serral really need to do? Well, maybe he needs to shut down some of these bases, right, before they get properly set up, you know, getting this one while it's not planetary just yet. That's the kind of thing that would work great. The problem is, as soon as you make a dive for these bases, Clem is elsewhere on the map, looking to get, at the very least, a base of his own. And he sees this space. I mean, that one's super low. He could probably just have targeted that down and then ran away to the right. He didn't go for it in the end. He's going to pull this army back. He's got some Widow Mines to fall back to. Widow Mine drop on this left side. Cleans out some drones as well. Bio back in. Ultra still taking quite a lot of damage as we do see another Zergling. Another Widow Mine getting a shot off on some Zerglings. Looks like this base of Clem may very well go down. I really do feel like that's important, keeping Clem on what's essentially 5 bases, I guess. If this base down here on the 6 o'clock isn't mining, this base in the upper right isn't mining. 2 new command centers will start from Clem in front of the CC there, as Ultras, Lings, Banes all gathered up on the top. Corruptors are already caustic spraying down this command center also. And there's 2 more CCs, like I said. Really will just give Clem the consistent reproduction of this. Oh no! Serral doesn't commit for the CC, which he might have gotten if he committed. But he pulls away and still loses the Corruptors to the Widow Mines, which is obviously very expensive. As you see our Bio army over on the right side. Lings, Banes, and an Ultralisk from Serral up on the top 12 o'clock position. These couple of CCs and just taking along nicely, right? Clem, actually just having this one still alive on the bottom is great. It means that these CCs can go here. Then he's got a backup command center for this location. It just feels like Serral should never really be able to break that top side economy down. It's going to take so many waves of units to try and do that, as here he goes, Serral running through again. Ling, Bane, Ultra trying to make his way forward. And that's going to be seen. The Lings and the Banes still coming through. The Ultras continuing to run on into this. The Marines and the Marauders going and kiting away to the far right-hand side. Bio continuing to fight. The Overseers continuing to take some damage as they take the lead. And the Ultras realizing they can't really commit in because Clem just has enough down here. He has a field of Widow Mines, a good clump of Bio. And I think it's worth mentioning as well that Clem still is just on Bio Mine. Right? He's never really teched away from that. Yes, he's used some Liberators this game. He's lost 11 of them. But he's never had like a massive Liberators or attempted to use Liberators in the army as he snipes the bottom left base. You know, and he's not added on any Ghosts yet, which kind of feels in a way why Serral is still able to take a lot of fights. Feels like Clem should have been able to afford a bit of a tech up with the way that this game has gone. And if he had, I really feel like these Ghosts are just dominating right now. These Ultras and low HP, they don't get out of here alive, for example. And the fight breaks out on the top right as well, as Clem will go running. It's not too many units once again, but he did lose a little bit of Bio that was meant to be protecting this. So it's the Ultras that are still just a little bit overwhelming at the moment. Problem is, how long do you keep this up for? How long are these Ultras going to remain being overwhelming? Probably not long enough, as the Ultra Bane Corruptor army settles to try and think about fighting in here. Widow Mine shots are deadly though, and just taking down so many Banelings plus damage onto the Ultras. You can see how hurt all of these Ultras are. Serral's done a fantastic job of keeping them alive. And yet, there's not a single one that isn't in orange, yellow, or red health. I mean, this one just goes down in an instant over here. One of the ones I had selected. And another one nearly goes down. And that's the thing, right? Serral's never been comfortable enough to actually be able to get the Queen count up, for example. To be able to transfuse these Ultras back to health. And again, it's been very impressive that all this time he's lost 6 Ultras for how many fights he's taken. If he lost, say, all of these Ultras already, right, just a little bit longer that he engaged into a fight for, you know, took that bit of extra damage. If he didn't have these Ultras, this game's already over. Clem's just swarming him at this point, but Serral able to keep those units alive, really keeping the game going, although it definitely seems to be swinging heavily in Clem's favor. He runs into a bit of a surround there. The Banelings from the side definitely getting into a good position, and again Serral will take the chance to jump on this, but the well, just the target firing. Stir Step Ultra number 2. I mean, just that ability to target fire there and take those Ultras down, something that's a very expensive trade for Serral, when it's just meant to be pushing Clem away and taking the advantage after a good start to the fight. The Banelings running in from Clem's left-hand side that he wasn't really prepared for. 2 more Liberators in production from Clem. The Bio pulling back to the high ground. Ultras continue to take a lot of hits. Some Zerglings going down. Another Ultralisk gets picked off. More Banelings from Serral on the bottom left-hand side. As he's going to stay aggressive, he's going to run down to the bottom left corner. We see the Corruptors able to come in, chasing down those Medivacs. Banes going to run straight into this mineral line. A lot of SCVs will go down. The Planetary Fortress as well. Bottom left, this CC has to cancel. And we're just going to be seeing the rest of Serral's army pulling all the way back away. I mean, okay, you've killed off a base here, but it's cost him so much army again. I feel like I'm a bit of a record on repeat right now because I'm going to say it all again. Efficiency has not been good enough from Serral, right? The base denial has happened, but it's not been good enough. It's not been, well, it's just not been enough, right? And it's cost him too much trying to deny those bases. He runs into this fight. The Widow Mines are getting shots on clumped up lings that are not being controlled at all. The Corruptors are killing a lot of these medevacs, and if these Corruptors survive, there's a lot of low health medevacs that might go down as well. As Serral drops to 115 supply and dropping down. He doesn't have the economy of his own to stay in this. Clem was able to put on so much pressure all the way throughout this, and I think that's one of the main things to keep in mind. Serral almost approached that 1,000 Zergling lost marker. In a game that didn't even feel like he was running that many lings to their death. It was just, that's how bad the fights were for Serral. I mean, you look at the resources lost, and he lost 60,000 resources. In a 24-minute game, honestly, that is on the high side. These are the sort of numbers I'd expect to see when you're kind of playing like a 35, 40-minute game. And I guess it's just because he really has almost mined out the map. Because he was on a higher drone count for such a long time in the game. It's, again, he just never really was able to take down these bases. And the matchup is such a momentum-focused matchup. And this was absolutely a case of Clem really took control early. And once he took control early, it really became difficult for Serral to come back. A couple of times, some fights happened in Liberators in the background, got a good chunk of drones and mineral lines, and those are the sort of losses which you can't really take against somebody like Clem. And Clem wins this one on the ladder. You guys want to know, so here's a couple of the fun facts I picked up for this match to tell you guys now that you obviously know that Clem won this game out. And that is that, so Serral was on a 25 win streak on his ladder account before this, and he was approaching 7.5k MMR. This loss to Clem lost him 40 MMR. 40. Can you imagine you lose to the best Terran in Europe? Or if you're a Hero Marine fan, you could say maybe Clem's the second best, arguably. Whatever. You play Clem, who's on fire lately, and you lose 40 MMR. Think about that, guys. How ridiculous is that? That's how high up Serral is on the ladder. Just thought that was a fun stat to put in there to wrap this cast up of our little ladder game here. Yeah, like I said, something new, something different, guys. I really hope you did enjoy. Again, thank you so much for all of the support as of late. Really do appreciate it. It's been really awesome to continue watching the channel grow. Very motivated to keep you guys having some great content here on the YouTube channel. I've got a lot of really good I've got a lot of really good uploads planned over the next few days. We've had some great games on the stream, but I've also found some real gems in some stuff that I get replay packs for. So I've got some real gems to cast as YouTube exclusives if I find a moment or two here or there. So expect some of those at some point sprinkled in and out throughout the week. And, well, yeah, thanks so much for watching once again. Like I said, let me know what you think about casting a ladder game of people here and there. I think this was you guys can see why I picked this one, right? Yeah, it was a pretty fun game. I didn't actually get to see the game when it happened. I just heard about it. So I thought it might have been worth, jumping in, checking out. One last thing I will say is also I will actually try and double check to see if you guys can see Serral's point of view. I'll see if his VOD is saved. If his VOD is saved and available to the public without subscribing or anything, I'll link it down in the chat below so you guys can watch Serral's first-person view of this game. So yeah, without any further ado, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll obviously see you guys next time. A new upload here every single day on WardiTV, full of the top-level StarCraft 2 action. Thanks so much. Again, see you guys in the future.